Today lesson, we learn financial management of construction, and we have two learning objectives: draw the contractor expenses and income profiles with different time of progress and advance payments, and compare the financial impacts of the different payment schemes, just say advance payment or no advance payments, and the also the effect of the interest on the contractor profit and the expenses and income. The key term that we address today is, as you can see, the progress payment. So when the project can be complete in 2, 3, 4, 12 months or several years, every month typically the contractor submit the payment requests, and then the owner after 1 or 2 months, depends on how the contract specified, will pay that progress payment. It's one example here. If you go to the FGCU facility planning, and we will get back to you just in the next lesson, but that certificate of the partial payment, that also the one of the progress payment for the FGCU for any of the project here at FGCU. So with that is progress payment. Retainage, when the contractor complete a month of work, it may cost the contractor, including the overhead and profit that we call it markup. The total value maybe $100,000, but then the owner will not pay totally $100,000 for that. Is he or she, the owner, like FGCU, may retain some money, so that in any case happen, he or she in a good position to ask the contractor to fix the problem, rework, defect, etc. Advance payment, this is what the contractor want to have money in advance, so that the contractor can perform the project. So that advance payment from the owner clients to the contractor before the project begins, so they have money to mobilize, start the early project. And of course, to get the progress payment, you need to know the measurement for the payment. And with that, why we need measurement? Because at certain point we cannot complete the whole thing, that we can pay for the whole item of the work. Like we do the pipeline, 1 miles, it may take a few months. So the first month it may complete only quarter of miles. Then we need to do the measurement, physical measurement for the payment of that work completed so far. So let's go to a few slides to see some concept. So progress payment flow diagram, just typical. So you see, we start here. Contractor submit the requests for material delivery but not yet installed, so that like heavy equipment for the project, like air conditioning, things like that. So, but it's not installed in the project, but they can submit requests. And contractor and resident engineer, project representative agree on the value of work in place, and contractor prepare the formal payment requests, and then they submit the request for payment after the representative of the project agree. And then if the request okay, if it's not okay, then it go back to review and agree on what are the actual work completed so far. If it yes, then it go to the resident project representative, forward to the project manager or the project director, and the process go to until the owner to engineer, and then owner to certify, and finally the owner will disperse funds to the contractor, and that is the partial payment or progress payment. And this is a typical form of the progress payment based on the estimate. This is the total work, unit price, and what is the item total, and then this month how much is work for that item, so you can find out the total of the work for that month, and then can submit the monthly progress payment. We talk about the to ensure the actual progress payment. We need to do the measurement for payment. Give you example here. We have a pipeline, and this is a plan for the pipeline, and then the profile with the elevation, etc. And with that one, and how can we determine the payment? It affected by multiple factors. How we define the work? Just show you one scenario here. With that pipe, we need to excavate in the road with the pavement, existing pavement, and you can see there. So if we specify that the payment for the resurfacing after we do the pipe, if it based on the amount of new pavement, then it can be for the contractor can do the slope for the excavation, and it will cover the width of the new pavement time the length of that pipe. So we will get the total payment. But if we talk about the linear feet, then the new payment can be they try to save the cost. Is will the payment will try to be narrower. So as you can see in here, effect of contractor earn payment of sloping trench walls, where the payment for the asphalt paving was based on the upper surface area instead of linear feet. So be careful when we define what are the measurement, what are the physical work we do, whether it we specify by the even the payment per linear foot of the pipe, or based on the square feet of the new pavement. It will affect the cost of the project, of the progress payment, and finally the project. And of course, as you can see, in project planning, we learn the schedule and we learn the cost. Here, it's over time and early start, early finish schedule. So if we try to start early, then you have to spend money earlier. If start late, it's riskier, but we delay the payment, delay the expense later on. So the progress schedule, the proposed schedule tend to be between the early start and early schedule, because we don't want to move too much later, because that may risk if something happen, just like hurricane come, etc. Especially this season, then it's risky to complete the project. So that somewhere between the early start and early finish schedule. And how that affect the work with the receipt from the clients and then your expense. So in here we have three curves. The first is the expenditure, so the cost of the contractor spend for the project, the solid line, and the dashed line, the costs. And of course the markup and profit that including in the costs. After the cost, then that we call it value of work. So the contract values, the project costs, plus the markup. And the contractor will receive money from the clients, and that receive, as you can see, it always tend to be have some delay, so that at any given point your expenditure is more than, for example, this is 4 months, the expenditure is here, but the receipt so far is only that much, so they only the gap. The contractor need either they have their own money or have to borrow the money, short-term borrowing, to fulfill the gap between the expenditure more than the money that they receive. And keep receipt only at the end it realized with the final payment jump, it realized whether the project have profit or not. So as you can see in this chart. So in the next videos we solve two problems that include, first, in the first problem we consider the no advance payment, for example in this case, and advance payment, how that affect on the contractor expenditure value and the gap in between the expenditure and the income or the receipt from the owner. And the problem two, that in the face-to-face class I give it the form in the worksheet and give you to work on the problems that include the effect of interest, advance payments, retainage, etc.